everyone, welcome back to my channel EduVibe. Today we will start with the next topic of momentum impulse, which is maximum speed. So in maximum speed, we will dealing with some theory part of this topic. So we are doing the grade 12 physics as you all know that, and let's start with the topic which is maximum speed. So let's imagine the one situation where suppose you have an object starting from rest. You have one object which is starting from rest. If it is starting from rest, so you know that vi is equal to 0 meter per second, which is your initial velocity. Then we wish to have it achieve the maximum possible speed. That what the this should be that the object which is starting from the rest, that you want to achieve that this object should achieve maximum possible speed, and then you examine the relationship between the two impulse equations. So assuming vi is equal to 0. For this type of question, they said that you have to achieve some maximum speed of the object which is starting from the rest. That m delta v is equal to net force times delta t. From here, if you isolate the delta v, so it becomes net force times delta t upon mass. From here, if this delta v is equal to vf minus vi, and your vi is equal to 0, so it cuts out and you left with only vf. So from here, your vf, which is final velocity, is equal to net force delta t upon m. From here, if you have force, time and mass, you can get the maximum. You get from here a maximum speed which you can want to achieve when the object is at rest. So for this type of question, to achieve the maximum final speed, so you have to have a two ways to do this. First one is to apply the largest net force. Apply the largest net force if that is possible over the longest period of time. And your period is for the longest time, and your net force is being larger and larger. Or you can smaller the mass. If you small the mass, you know that if you have a smaller momentum or smaller anything, you have a smaller in momentum, so this will be easier to stop. Same in this, if you have a smaller mass, so it's easier to move it with the higher final speed. So these are the two ways to do this. But from here you get some theory question or some reasoning question from here. So the safety and cushioning. One of the dangers in a stunt or a car crash in a sudden stop. It is dangerous in a stunt or a car crash is the sudden stop. There, when something is crashed, so it's a sudden stop in that particular object. Safety conscious people do whatever they can to cushion the impact and draw out the time and impact lasts. You can know that in the cars there is an airbag. When there is the sudden stop, so the airbags open, which will trigger as a like of cushion or the safety of the living thing, which they're like a humans for their safety, and it reduces the force felt and reduces the risk of injury too. So it reduces the risk of injury, reduces the force, which will have for the safety purposes. So from that type of thing, when we have a sudden stop of thing, so we're talking about the safety stuff, that if the force can be reduced, if we reduce the force like a maximum force, if we can reduce, so this will be very helpful for the person which are in some type of that situation. So from here you will get that if we have a smaller delta t is our time. So if you have to know that f net is equal to delta p upon delta t, from here if you want delta p, you get net force into delta t. So for this equation, this type of equation, if we want, so if you have a smaller delta t, if you have a too small time, so it means it has a larger net force. So if you have a larger net force, this will increase the risk. So for the safety purposes, you can larger the time. you can larger the time and smaller the net force. If the force is slow, if the force is small, if the force is reduced maximum, so this will save. This is the ideal for safety too. So this type of thing we have to use, which is ideal for your safety. So in all version of this type of things, you have to deal with this situation only. Like if we increase the time of the collision, that the collision time is increased, so this is the increase in collision. So this will decrease the net force faced by the person. So the net force which is faced by the person should be decreased, and this will save the life of someone and reduces the risk of the injury too. So that's how the reasoning question works in this type of question. You will apply the question, you apply the safety for this purposes. So we have some kind of common question which we get from here. Like this is the some kind of question like this. Like why are the ropes used by rock climbers made of lasting material? Why they made of the lasting material when the rock climbers have the rods they have? So that is they are take and stretch other than a stiff rod. So stiff rod is not very good for that type because the elastic material have a more stretch on it. They mentioned that they have a more stretch on it. If there's a more stretch and there's a longer collision time, if they use that elastic material rope they have a stretch. They can stretch those rods, so this will longer the collision time. So if the collision time is longer, so it decreases the net force, which will experienced by the rock climber. So that's how it works. Like if you have elastic material rock, it will longer the collision time. So you have a longer collision time with that elastic material and will decrease the net force if there is a time of risk. So that's type of question you get. We will more doing that type of question, like we do diploma questions too for this type. But in our practice question session, when we'll do the after I think 2-3 lessons, we'll do the practice question and we add more questions for this topic too. So that's all for this small topic. This is such a small topic for this unit. So if you understand this, so it's very helpful. Like 1 or 2 questions always in the exams or the diploma. So learning made simple with EduVibe. Learn smarter but not harder. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If any questions related to this topic, let me in the comment section. See you in the next video. Till then, stay connected with EduVibe.